boy! Once again, another brand new game that I got a code for, called Silenced the House. According to how long to beat, it's not too long, so we'll plow through this and then swap on over most likely to Sucker for Love 2 demo. Once that's taken care of, I imagine that won't take too long either. We'll hop on over to Rewind or Die, which I believe is also not terribly long. Yeah, it says it takes about an hour. And then once we're done with that, maybe some Faz. So, yeah, it should be fun. Let's go with Hayasaka. Let's see what this is about. So settings, font, large. Yeah, why not? We'll go with large font. True miracle is to see your own sins, Anthony the Great. It's been a while since we left New Lake Road. How close are we? I've never been to this place before, so I'm not sure how long it should take us to reach our destination. Last time I was carried away to an old, inoperative factory on the outskirts of town. Before that, I was wandering around the plantation, to the villa. Once, there was even an asylum in the Heathlands. I think the factory was my favorite. Maybe I should visit it again. We traveled along the narrow gray path that was buried under the leaves. It was not the wind, but some other forces that brought them here. The scene was as fake as a smile on Grace's face. The leaves were arranged in such a way so that they would not cross the edges. The narrow path, obediently sparkling in the beams of our flashlights. It reminded me of a twisted version of an old German fairy tale, Hansel and Gretel. And in this version, the naive children rushed right into the jaws of an unspeakable creature. Lloyd put his foot on one of the leaves, which was found over the edge of the path. The silence was broken by his hoarse voice. Man, it's been an hour since we entered this frickin' forest. Hang on, guys, we're almost there. I've heard that before, Grace, and this is what, the third time? I don't think there's a need to go any further, guys. This forest itself gives me the creeps. Maybe we should just stay here for the night. I agree with that. Kate! What do you say if we have sex in front of this pretty little stump? This hooked snag on it. If this hooked snag on it were a real nose, I bet he would stick it in your sexy topic right into your islands of pleasure. What makes you think that I will let you do anything with my body, you piece of shit? Somebody please remind me why I'm still going out with such a pervert. You've had enough of his shit. You should hang out with me, babe. Nope. What about you, Grace? Nah. If you think you were some kind of Superman who was not afraid to accompany me to this spooky abandoned house, do not fool yourself. Your so-called chivalrous act is just a trick to get me into bed. You need to try harder to get my juicy butt, so I have a chance. Sweet. What made you so friendly today? It is my birthday after all, and we're going to have a party. What, do you have brains? What do you have for brains? Shit? It's a very special day. It is special indeed. Today, Grace holds the stage, but her acting is still not good enough for an Oscar. It is bad, but everyone seemed to fall for her optimism. Oh, I almost forgot that you're with us. Come on, I have plans for you. Oh, so you are into girls. What a twist! Looks like you are dead in the water now, Lloyd. You're surely a cutie, Ashley, in this panda hood, but it is still not enough for a girl to win my heart yet again. The end of her phrase was said very quietly, but I heard it. I smiled wryly. Looks like all of us have a skeleton in the closet, but what if the closet is the size of a house? A silly idea came to my mind when I saw this colossal house. I felt like something was coming. The house seemed to be flickering on the crossroads of reality and imagination, in the land of a future unseen. Its secrets were hidden in darkness, just like the forest. The weak yellow lights were jumping from one tree to another, running along the path and flickering in the night. I knew we would soon approach the house, but maybe it's not too late to turn back and forget about all of this shit. Maybe, just maybe, I've had enough of this. So I asked myself, do you wish to save them, Ashley? No, I don't like them. No, they aren't worth the chance. I'm gonna stick to the plan. The forest, like a hungry beast with trees for teeth, devoured us in a cold, dead night. Their branches looked like crooked hands. They struggled to rip our faces off, or maybe we just couldn't realize their true intentions. Maybe the trees were torturing themselves, wickedly twisting their branches to set a warning for us that in the end of the path, which was flickering in the beams of our flashlights, the darkness was waiting. Lloyd looked really nervous. He was haunted by the rustles, and it made him mad. His hand was clutching a flashlight. His hand that was clutching a flashlight was swinging like some kind of pendulum with a glowing demonic eye. The flashlight was only uncovering things lurking in the darkness, and that it couldn't immediately burn his phantom enemies alive, it scared him even more. I heard a strange sound and raised my head to see that it was just a crow. The beam of light ran through the black feathers, and the crow merged with the night. I'm the only one who actually knows what the darkness is hiding, but I'm still scared. My fears are not that simple. It's not what you feel when your reflection refuses to obey. The illusions in the bathroom mirror can't scare the shit out of me. It is just not enough. What really scares me is that the plan could fail. When you follow the untrodden path, you are always on thin ice. I feel like I'm lost in a boundless ocean, searching for a shark to ask if the human flesh is delicious. You really want to talk to a shark, Ashley? I wonder whether or not I'm still sane. The weak beams of light was sliding along the path full of faded leaves, and suddenly something on the ground caught my eye. Shit, what the heck? It was a dead crow. Maybe the one I'd seen earlier, nobody knows. Its eyes were sparkling in the beam of light, staring at me, and that gave me the creeps. Just a dead bird. I've seen much worse in horror movies. You often see dead crows in horror movies? Pretty often, yeah. Why do you ask? We recently watched a movie, and in the beginning, the dudes ran into dead crows in the forest just before the massacre began. Saw this bird of death only after my life stream was over. Reminded me of those days that I was imprisoned in a mental hospital. The walls of my ward were my only friends. Sometimes I really wanted to discuss the weather outside with them. Of course, the staff didn't neglect their everyday duties, and the doctors regularly visited me to ask only one question: how are you doing today? Actually, a tape recorder in repeat mode asking how are you would be just the same. Just like the tape, the therapist wouldn't even change the words or say anything else. Perhaps he already knew how I was, or he didn't care. Niku. How's it going, Niku? Anyhow, every time he asked me, my answer was the same. Silence. I only showed the same article torn from the newspaper about my family burnt alive in a car accident. That crow reminded me of the very first ink blot in Rorschach test. So the train of memories suddenly started to chase me along the rusty rails imaginarily built under my feet. Knew the exact spot where the rust corroded and the train got off the track. People in it started screaming in panic and hitting their heads against the walls. Insanity. That's why I chose to focus on our way. I was afraid to lose the path because it was like a thin tightrope that was saving me from falling into the void where evil spirits were crying my name. You need to calm down to pull yourself together, Ashley. You have to be ready for when the game begins. Seems like I buried my head into sand too deeply, but fortunately, a rough male voice dug me out. Stop fooling around, I've already got goosebumps, and we're not in the house yet. What are you afraid of, Powerhouse? Pretty sure you're the fastest among us, and even if we run into a serial killer in the freaking house, we'll be able to run away. Right, the killer would carve my enormous body, as I've put on a couple of kilos this week. I won't even glance at the cake. Everyone laughed, but Martin started to comfort his girlfriend by telling her that she had a nice figure. I grinned. She really was a slim girl and just wanted to be in the spotlight as always. But today, nothing will save her. I looked forward. Unexpectedly, I found myself ahead of everybody, and I didn't even remember how I left them behind. It was as usual as summer rain and as sudden as snow in the beginning of July. I had to be first. I need to see it first. Mysterious forces were guiding me to that place. It was just a fish caught on the hook of curiosity, pulling me to the fisherman. Every new location had its own atmosphere. When I was wandering along the halls of the inoperative factory, I felt like I was trapped in the black hole of sorrow. The wet windows of the abandoned hospital were crying with raindrops of various shapes, which constantly changed and drew enormous pictures as if invented by inflamed imagination. Eventually, I saw it. I guess it was a fateful moment, so I wanted to have a proper look at it. At first, I saw contours behind the dense pine needles. It was like a shadow, but then some significant parts of the building started to make out. We were quite far from it, but I noticed that just for a moment, the lights on the first floor turned on, and then one more time. It's like a lighthouse. Is it the house or my imagination? If I saw or heard something odd, I would think I was crazy. And it would be more casual than any other things going on in my life. Can't decide yet whether the house is a friend or an enemy. Of course, its purpose is clear to me, as it always was, regardless to location or building. But despite its purpose, maybe this house decides for itself. Can't explain why, but somehow it is alive. All the places were. They become alive for me because things just couldn't be so simple when someone like me is involved. Anyway, if I stick to the plan, this house will play nice. Or not. It may be as treacherous as the devil, hiding the delicious candies inside the hungry jaws of doom. The house gazed at me with its lightless windows. They were dark like the eyes of the blind, but I knew that it watched me very carefully. Out of the blue, a hoarse voice broke down this strange connection between us. Now I knew that I wasn't the only one who was looking at the house, which meant that it saw us all. Wow, this damn thing is huge. Not bad, Grace. How did you find it? Don't fool yourself. You might think it was hard to discover such a place, but the house stands right in the glade. Bet some naughty local children run around the house pretending to be ghost hunters or something. Cut the crap, will you? It's wrong. Everybody knows ghost stories are for children. Am I right, guys? No one said a word. We continued approaching the house in dead silence. I was so deep in my thoughts that I jumped when I suddenly heard the metal clip hit the wooden planks. Then I found myself standing in front of the entry door. Freedom, finally. She dropped off her backpack and stretched herself out onto the porch. Tired already? Maybe we should go inside first. Looks like the door is locked. I don't think the ghosts are dying to meet us. Go to hell, moron, and meet the damn ghosts yourself. You really are a pain in my ass. You are so sweet, guys. Let me handle this stupid door. Hold on, big boy. No text. Now what? No text. I'm working on it. Text. While these idiots were searching for a way in, I was picking the lock with my own skeleton key. Not sure how many doors it's already conquered. It was the same as picking tiger's teeth to see how its digestive works. Something moved. Couldn't say for sure, but it felt like the mouth of the door took a tight grip on the skeleton key with its metal tongue and devoured it. Seriously? I got mad and kicked the damn door. What the hell? The door was opening so slowly with a squeaky old-like crap sound. However, it resembled the screams of the tortured souls. I just couldn't bear it. Nice job. I approached the door. But I didn't open it. It opened itself. What's going on here? Oh no. It was very dusty inside the house. Looks like the ghosts aren't very hospitable. Everyone laughed except Lloyd. He gave Kate a significant look. I think everyone knows that you don't believe in such shit. Can you please stop? What's wrong? Darkness is so scary, am I right, big boy? Come on, I'm just teasing you. It's fun. But it's not like that. So you tell me, what can hide behind the shadow curtains? If it's not a ghost or a phantom, then what is it? It isn't my fear, it's a frickin' mental disorder. The name is, nyctophobia. Sure, I mispronounced that because James is dumb. Make sure that your flashlight is not dead or you'll be in trouble. Don't even count on mine. Everyone laughed again. There was no need in flashlights anymore. The glowing eyes of the full moon illuminated the house pretty well. But when we were outside, it surely was dark. It was very strange. Those frickin' tricks again. Though it looks like it wasn't a big deal for anyone except me. Even though candles peeked out from literally every corner of the room. I think everyone thought it was Grace's joke or something. The place aroused my curiosity, and I wanted to explore it a little bit. There were a few pictures hanging on the walls. To be exact, some of them had fallen off and were lying on the floor like dead rats, with twisted paper tails. I saw no mirrors in the room, thank God, but it was only the first floor. Still, I'm glad. Houses are like narrators of people's life, made to tell stories of their owners. And this one was choking on dust and death. The armchair looked really convincing. It was old and fractured, but I still knew that its appearance was a lie. Even the carpet was old and shabby for every second of its existence. I was aware of those tricks, and I knew I had little time. I took the cell phone out of my pocket and looked at the display. I saw that the connection was lost and that it was already 8 p.m. The clock was ticking. Ella should turn up soon. I hoped she would find the house. At least I drew her a map. While exploring the room with the fireplace, I found a box of candles. I smiled wryly. We would need them later. And of course, there was the book. It is most important item. I just don't know how to do it without some extraordinary stuff. Of course, I was no amateur in that kind of cuisine. You could call me the chef of the kitchen, I guess. So I knew it from A to Z. I looked at the others. They all were wearing the same smiling faces except Lloyd. This poor creature, poor idiotic creature. He wanted to blow Grace's skirt up, literally. Sadly for him, it's not going to happen. Ever! The girls have already prepared their sleeping bags and spread some blankets on the floor. The scary house was slowly turning into some kind of warm, lovely nest. But I rushed to conclusions. Oh, guys, spooky doll. The strings of fear caught us in its web, and when we saw a straw doll on the sofa, her button eyes pierced us through as if staring at our souls. Somewhere behind the skin, there was a hall full of screams which couldn't reach our mouths. The apple of her eye was black. Excuse me. Like a rotten dead fruit. And the flickering hellfire. The candles made the scene more satanic. Oh no. Lloyd nearly shit bricks when he saw this evil thing. The guy made a very strange screaming sound. Kate just couldn't make the joke. She took her cell phone out of her pocket, and her fingers started to dance on the phone keypad. Suddenly she began a made-up dialogue, pretending there was someone on the other end of the line. Hello, is this the mother of the wicked straw doll, who I tend to know? Good. Tell your child to stay out of the light, because she is too scary for our little Lloyd. Your girl scared him to death, you know. What the hell, guys, even with this canny shit. Enough of this canny shit for one evening. Lloyd rushed to the sofa and grabbed the straw doll. Give me a hand, man. Light it up, Marty. Marty gave his lighter to Lloyd, and this idiot threw the doll into the fireplace with her hair set on fire. The flame died immediately. The damn witch! Why don't you just perish? You are a real idiot. It's a doll, not a paper shit. You need to light the fireplace first. You can use books or newspapers. Everyone glanced at me in surprise. Well, there are always some books in a house. It's an ordinary thing. We could search for them. Phew, I almost got caught. Of course, I knew books were here. I know everything about this place. There's a playroom on the second floor, a kitchen on the ground floor, and 2 bathrooms. I was connected to this house, and I could almost hear squeaking mice gnawing its beating heart behind the walls. But it was only a strange delusion living in my mind. These morons looked in every corner of the house but found nothing, so it was my turn. Here they are. Geez, they are heavy. Lloyd approached me and took the books. Congratulations, Miss Ashley. I'm appointing you the Master of Doll Inquisition now. Thanks a lot. I faked a clumsy smile that almost turned into disgust. Where are you going? It's time to punish the sinner. Maybe you can deal with this on your own. Don't be a pussy, it's just a joke. You are the justice. Make the evildoer pay. He lent me a lighter. If it were not for the rules, I would beat him hard. Okay? I set fire to one of the pages and threw the book on the pile of other books. It turned to ash in seconds, but the doll was still in flames. I was watching her face turning black in the bright scarlet flame. Tongues of fire played with the stitches on the doll's face. For a moment I saw her wicked smile. I heard agonized screams. In my hand there was something, a phone. The other end of the line, tires rubbing against the ground, grinding of metal bones, cracking, front windows smashing into pieces. Little shards of glass stuck in my neck. They pierced my chest and my heart. Maybe the explosion torn their limbs off. Maybe it was a meteor fallen from the sky, or they were burned. Buried alive by some psycho. Doesn't matter, they are dead. I can't stand it anymore. I relived this nightmare over 1,000,000 times. I relived the day when it was all gone. Without knowing it, I touched the tooth, which I was always carrying in my pocket. Some kind of ritual, but not as useless as most of them. It was more than effective. For a moment, sorrow in my eyes changed to coldness. My fingers released the tooth, and I looked at Lloyd. Satisfied? Yeah, but you're the sinner like everyone else. That's why you should be punished. I'll turn you on the minute I turn off the lights. Or I'll turn you on the minute I turn off the lights. In a bedroom, sweetie. Lloyd didn't give me a chance to evade his lightning kiss. I have almost died of disgust as his tongue touched my cheek like a maggot lurking in the corpse. His lips were as cold as a dead man's. I guess I'll pass. I'd rather confess my sins. Smiled wryly and wiped his icy touch from my skin with my sleeve. Actually, there's one thing you're right about. Everyone's sins. Lloyd shrugged his shoulders and began unpacking his things. It's present giving time. The girl opened her backpack and took out a book with a colorful ribbon on it. Take it, beautiful. It's for you. Thanks, cutie. I've always wanted to read the biography of Scott Malcolm, one of the greatest guitarists. Lloyd was next. Thought that if you liked their last album, you must check out these. Grace took the CDs and hugged Lloyd. She slapped his butt hard. Oh no. Not butt slapping, chat. Keys to the house in the Sky Dwart Lane 65 tinkled like a ringing bell. That's all you get, big boy. Lloyd was a little embarrassed. I gave her earrings. They were pretty cheap. I bought them on sale. Thanks. Martin left the house. Through the window, I saw him smoking. Sorry, dying. He didn't even try to take his pack of smokes out of his pocket on the way here. Maybe if he smoked near Kate, she would order him to swallow the cigarettes, one by one, lit up. When Martin came back, he took a bracelet from his bag and whispered something. I bought it because it was beautiful and cheap, of course, but it has the Japanese hieroglyphics, which mean happiness and money. So maybe it'll work fine for you. Cool, nice thingy. All of a sudden, Martin put the bracelet on Grace. He cuffed her wrist with a loud click. Now it was time to eat the cake, but Ella was still on her way, so everyone felt depressed. Someone suggested playing cards, and everyone agreed. In fact, I didn't know who it was because my mind was focused on other kinds of issues. I had more important things to do. I approached the book that was lying on the mantelpiece and took it. No one noticed the book except me. It was out of human sight. Even I did not see it. I only felt it at first. When I opened the book, I looked at the strange symbols that didn't make any sense until I touched the tooth in my pocket. I understood everything! While consuming the symbols, I almost tore some of the pages off. Finally, thousands of letters and words formed the phrase. Iam mors afera? I'm guessing. I'm dumb. Well done, Ashley. This phrase was like a good old friend to me. I lost count of how many times this phrase came up in my mind, and still I couldn't remember its true self. Full of inconceivable power. If I just spoke the mysterious words, without the book, nothing at all would happen. Iam moris afera. I took my phone out of the pocket and looked at the display. It was 10 p.m. already. The time passed quickly and the game was about to begin. Would it be a fair one? The question has always tortured me. I can't say if I'm doing the right thing or not. I always doubt. Some part of me knows the answer, but I don't know which part it is. While I was reading the book, the others continued to play cards. Both Lloyd and Martin called me to join them a couple of times, but I always refused. They didn't ask why. I think they were just playing their own game with me. I finished reading the book, so it's time to make my turn. I need to come up with something and fast to hurry things up. I can't just leave this to Grace. Even the fact that I'm allegedly holding her brother hostage doesn't mean I can fully trust her. And suddenly, luck smiled at me. I saw Lloyd cheating at cards. The trick was simple. He filled his hand with trumps. Oh, God. I just needed to prove it, so I waited for the right moments. I can see things. I see. I bet you have a trump. Ace and Jack. Stop being ridiculous. I don't believe you're a psychic or something. The rumors at school, they are all bullshit. Came right to him and looked into his eyes. I was looking at him with a sadistic smile, like he was a bug that I was going to squash. Show us your cards. Lloyd looked pathetic. The pompous jock was trembling all over. Actually, it was pretty funny. Or it wasn't? Suddenly I realized that my decisions and actions started confusing me more and more. Excuse me. In the beginning, I was completely sure that I was absolutely right. It was like using a manual that was telling me how to win lotteries with a 100% chance. Screw the shit. For me, it was as usual as breakfast in the morning. Of course, I want to return to that factory and repeat the whole thing one more time, but not as much as I wanted it a month ago. When I was almost manically laughing, looking at the woman who was trying not to fall, clutching the elevator cabin of a roller coaster. I'm sure I'm fucking up a lot. Just show them! Martin hit Lloyd's hands and the trumps fell on the floor. You asshole, give me my $20 back. It wasn't me, she set the whole thing up. You kidding me? I was miles away from you. You couldn't know. You just looked at my cards. You knew I had those trumps. Wasn't cheating. Prove that you're psychic. Looks like Lloyd was going mad. Obviously, I pretended his words hurt me. Shit, it was so hard not to gloat. He was going straight into my trap. You fool! My feelings turned into some strange mix, and it was difficult for me to understand what I actually felt. Maybe I froze for a moment. That's why Lloyd yelled one more time. If I continue to lose the connection to reality like this, they'll definitely think that I'm crazy. Come on, Ashley, keep it together. I touched the tooth like it was giving me some strength, and I smiled wickedly. But prove it! It's not as easy as you think. Yeah, you're right. I could get a peek at your cards, but I didn't. What number from 1 to 1,000 am I thinking of? Geez, it seems like this guy really believed in my abilities, which, by the way, leave much to be desired, for now at least. That's not interesting at all. It must be something more difficult. What color is Kate's underwear? Everyone ignored this question. Summon the spirits. I heard lots of psychics can talk to them. Yeah, that'll be cool. Geez, you're like Ella, but I agree, that'd be great. I guess it's not a very good idea. I'll prepare everything. It was really difficult not to laugh. They were so ridiculously naive. It was so funny to see them like this, but there was something more. The mystery of the whole thing, it inspired me in some way. Playing with fire always intrigued me. I knew something inexplicable, exciting and terrifying at the same time was about to happen. Knowing this raised my spirits even more, so that it wasn't my fault. They themselves asked me to do it. Nobody forced them. It would probably be better to do everything wrong, to end this madness once and for all. But not today. This fool inspired me. He made me sink into this slough, full of rotten memories. I felt like I had fallen to the bottom of a huge can filled with maggots. They were crawling into my ears, and I heard them twitching inside, heard their whisperings of death. Perhaps Lloyd will be the first. This moment of uncertainty has always turned my curiosity into a hungry beast waiting for the meat in its bloody bowel, given to it by the hand of fate. I dusted off the old handkerchief that was lying on the floor and began placing candles on it very carefully, like a caring mother who was taking her precious children from kindergarten. 13 little children, short and tall, plump and thin, but all hungry. They were sleeping in my handmade cradle, which swung as I carried it to the ritual room. I called this room by that name the moment we entered the house. It was kind of sad that I couldn't examine it properly because of the pile of memories and thoughts that followed me. The main door. pretty dusty in here. It's obvious that a house like this had seen its best days, and now it was old and abandoned and forgotten. In some corners of the hall, I could see the spiders' webs. Gross! I really wanted my working place to be just a bit cleaner. Before I started my preparations, I knocked on the wall, and a broom fell into my hands. Suddenly, I felt very angry. What the heck? It would be a lot easier for her to do this. I threw the broom to the wall, but it vanished before it reached the obstacle. The floor became much cleaner. That's how it's done. Took out a piece of chalk. This is my main tool for tonight. Of course, I didn't feel like crawling on the floor, but it was usually done this way. I liked using the wall in the asylum much more than the traditional way. Tried some new things back there, but unfortunately everything ended badly. At least I stayed alive. In fact, I didn't use the chalk too much. There were no tangled symbols. It was just a huge circle in the center of the room. And of course the star. It just wouldn't work without it. I didn't think it had any real power. I mean, you can see it almost everywhere. On a new album of a rock band, for example. But it looks like it is worth something. The candles were next, which is my favorite part. Oh, it's a Ryo 090, and it's a home skillet. Last time, when the drawing was on the wall, it was fascinating to put matches into the cracks. But I think it really mattered, and eventually everything was almost ruined. So I'd rather use candles this time. But first, I had to draw circles in the center of each star between the thick white lines. Carefully, smoothly, and only one of them I scratched out, making a terrible sound, like the chalk was some kind of claw. Finally, the picture was done! I put every candle on its exact spot, as if arranging chess pieces on the board. Pawns went first, as I called them. They embodied every person in the house. Only one piece could become the queen. No. I already was the queen! Had to fake my unimportance as to not cause any suspicion. The fattest candle was meant for Kate, as she was obsessed with her figure. Mine was slim and beautiful, of course, but I had to break it into 2 pieces following the rules. Then they were put in the center of the star. Now it was time for the main players to join the game. Since I didn't know whether they're bishops, rooks, or knights, I couldn't think of the right position for them. So I just put the pieces in front of the ones that were already in the star. Every candle meant for the main player was placed carefully, so the candles embodying the people in the house were their reflections, though somehow twisted, as I just couldn't find one as fat and ugly as the Kate's candle. Everything was done, but there was still one candle left. I knew it was significant, but I had no idea who it was meant for. When I was in the asylum, I put a significant chess piece near the wrong pawn, and we got into big trouble. I looked at Lloyd's candle. I hope my intuition is correct. That asshole, most likely it's him. Suddenly, candles lit up the room. What the hell is going on here? No, just my imagination. It was the headlights. Lloyd came into the room and whistled. Well, well, you're totally out of your mind. You think the drawing of that frickin' pentagram that's always on the cover of horror movies will do the trick? Martin entered the room next. Kate followed him. Yeah, nice room. The scary skull is the only thing missing. Wow, that's so cool. I'm flattered. The door half opened and Ella entered the house. Before she joined us, she was walking around the room where we had thrown about our backpacks. Will anybody help me bring my things from the car? Ella peeked in the room and saw the huge chalk drawing and got, oh, so excited. Wow! Ella came closer to my recreation with caution, as if she was scared that the floor would break under her hard steps, even though she was as light as a feather. Is that what I think it is? We're going to speak with the dead. Are you in? Of course, I always wanted to try this. That's just incredible. Looks like I'm just on time. Is everything ready? Yeah, actually, if everyone's ready, we can start now. Maybe we should eat first. Hanging out with the dead is scary as shit. Moreover, I'm hungry. Oh, so you believe in ghosts? I don't. I just suggest that eating this tasty cake that Ella brought us. Well, he's probably right. I don't want to eat it watching his corpse rot on the floor. When Martin and Lloyd brought a large cake into the house, each of us took a piece. Of course, the biggest one went to Lloyd. I got the smallest. He was consuming it like it was his last meal. I knew he was nervous. So nervous, it was hard not to grin. Grace tripped over someone's bag, and her piece of cake almost plopped down to the floor. I guess if it had happened, it would have looked like a human brain, juicy with blood. Martin managed to grab the cake with his plate. You look really pale. Is everything okay? Yeah, I just feel dizzy, that's all. Okay, then. Martin smiled nicely. But I guess his girlfriend didn't like it at all. What's that on your face? A grin, you asshole? Want to screw her that badly? No, sweetie, it's not what you're thinking. Yeah, this butt is mine, right, baby? Grace painted Lloyd's face with the cake and went into the ritual room. This makes it hard not to chuckle. Finally, everyone took their places. Grace sat closer to Martin, with Kate on the other side of him. Lloyd sat near me. Even knowing what fun was coming next, his gaze made me feel sick, as though his eyes were taking my clothes off. Gosh, he is a pervert. I wonder, is there any limit to his blasphemy? Pierce a finger with something sharp and drip some blood on the candle. My words sounded ominous and terrifying. Are you kidding me? That's bullshit. Is it really necessary? I clenched my hand into a fist. It is. Okay, if nothing happens, you will spit blood for a week. Kate chuckled. Oh, okay. I pretended to be scared, but was not sure if he bought it. However, he smiled at me unconfidently. Suddenly, I really wanted to shout, "You will die, fools! You and you, all of you!" But I stopped myself, otherwise they'll understand that I'm involved in this, and it'll become 1,000 times harder for me to do my job. Muttering some curses, Lloyd, however, pierced his finger with a needle and touched the candle. Martin was next. He touched the candle too, and the scarlet blood drop went down. Ella was really nervous and excited. I feared that the girl could have a heart attack because of all this. Ella pierced her finger so hard that the blood spilled in different directions. When all the candles devoured the souls of the mortals, I continued commanding the army of the dome. Martin, just like my actual assistant, was giving his lighter to the others one by one to light up the candles. Why aren't all the candles lit up? Chester, the last thing I wanted is her comments, and it's such a critical moment. Close your eyes. But I could see that Lloyd's eyes were half open, so the dead can't take them away. Lloyd immediately closed both of his eyes. Ellipses. The only thing we heard was the whispering of the candle flame. Oh no. Yeah, Moors of Farah. The wind howled outside. Yeah, Moors. Question marks. Suddenly, all the lit up candles went out. And shivering flame was devoured by the darkness. The ones that were sleeping woke up, extended their fire tongues. Same happened to the candles in the corner. A mysterious female voice whispered and disappeared. Wow, so cool. Was that the dead? What else could it be? Nothing happened. It's just a trick with a voice. And you made the candles light up and then blew them out. You saw everything. I knew that he couldn't see that. You're a liar. Don't come any closer to me. Okay, let's just calm down, guys. Lloyd, who wanted to rush at me, now stop. Seems like he was a little afraid of Martin. Did this guy just step in between? Have I misjudged him? I heard the voices too, and I'm sure that it wasn't Ashley. It was the sound from a tape recorder. I heard something. There was some noise. Is he right, Ashley? I looked down at the floor and gave the cell phone to Martin. That's right. He pressed the play button. Recording. A failure. And then some noise, just like he said. Her real voice. Nice performance. You almost managed to make me believe in that bullshit. Trick of the Candles was cool though, but I remember the harsh flash of the flames. You didn't light up the candles one by one, you lit them all at once. You kidding me? You figured it all out. Yeah. We'll talk about it later. Now I need to smoke. Came up through his bag, took the pack of smokes, and went out. Through the window I saw him, staying near the car. He was blowing the cigarette smoke to the night sky. We haven't finished yet. Lloyd went out of the room. I heard the chewing-like sound. This guy began greedily consuming what's left of the cake. I sneaked up behind him and quickly sat down on the old chair to make a terrifying creak. Lloyd was choking on the cake, and a piece of it dropped from his hands. He looked around. He was scared to death until he saw me. His fear immediately turned to wrath. I'm going to freaking kill you. I guess that for him. I was a player from the opposite rugby team, and he wanted to take away the ball from my hands. So he jumped at the chair that I was sitting on. Fortunately, I quickly dodged the attack. The literally ancient chair somehow stood against his massive body and didn't break. Lloyd then fell onto the floor. Martin returned to the house with a cigarette still in his mouth. Looks like something urgent. He was searching for something with his eyes. He definitely didn't come back because of the noise. However, he looked pretty calm like always. Martin took out his cigarette with his fingers, threw it to the ground, and stomped it out. He pointed at the ceiling. There, I saw something in the window on the second floor. Yay, the ghosts! With cries of joy, Ella ran upstairs. Lloyd noticeably turned pale. Interesting. Everyone rushed after the girl with the ponytails. The shadow slid along the massive window, touching Ella's car into the yard. Headlights were still on. The girl didn't even bother to turn them off. Seems like this mysterious story excited her so much that she forgot about such simple things. The car was staring in front of it and didn't care about what was going on to happen in the walls of this house. I also noticed the first floor windows were high enough to break the neck and a couple of ribs if you fell out. We went even higher up the stairs to the second floor. There was something on the wall, a message for us. Bloody letters said, "Let's play." Oh, maybe the ghost who you saw through the window did that, Martin. Are you kidding me? Ghosts don't have a physical form. They can't write on the walls with blood. That's some kind of Hollywood bullshit. I think so too. Must be stupid kids. But when we were here searching for something to light the fireplace, the message wasn't there. That means the pranksters are still here. Of course, I knew it was just a trick. Pairing with what was going to happen after it, the bloody lion, like a silent guide, led us to a room without any doors. Funny wallpaper told me that it was the child's room. They entered the nursery. Not sure I remember this room, because you didn't come to this floor, but both Lloyd and I did. Thank God this shit gives me the creeps. She pointed at the unusual toy mouse with slender long legs. The thing was sitting on the chair, looking through the window with its shiny-eyed beads. This room looks like someone lives here. It's just sick, so cool. I thought so too, but that's bullshit. This is so intriguing. Oh, I have an idea. Wait a second. Rushed down the stairs. There was complete silence for a moment. Then we heard the approaching sound of stomping footsteps. Let's try this, shall we? Ellie gave me an infamous Ouija board. She had prepared for this quite well. It seems like I shouldn't have worried about the ritual after all. She'd made me do that under the gun anyway. You live only once, right? Are you out of your mind? I don't believe in ghosts, but I'm interested. I guess now, or only for this precise moment, when we sat down in the center of this strange child's room. Everyone believed in spooky ghosts. Even Kate, though of course she would never admit it. If the phantom hand of a baby touched my skin now, I'd flinch. Obviously, I'm afraid of ghosts because I know what they are capable of when they're not in the mood. In the room, there were not many toys, but still, the room must be abandoned. Hey, you hear me? Abandoned, goddammit. There was a little bed with a teddy bear on it near the wall. Dollhouse was standing on the wall with a small zoo near it, and a faded pillow was left nearby. By the opposite wall, there was a little nightstand with a child's makeup and a mirror above. What's this? I hate mirrors. If you take a cozy sit on the chair at the table for the tea party, you'll be able to see the forest landscape. Let's begin. Touched the planchette and started moving it around the board. Oh god, it's a magical talking board. Everyone grabbed to it, and I suddenly felt like we were going to touch someone's gravestone right now. What's your name? Our hands moved slowly. We heard a quiet, eerie creaking sound. Mary. How did you die? Everyone gave him a judgmental look, but the planchette started moving. Daddy. Was it his fault? I don't like this. What am I thinking about? Sex. Shit, that's not funny, asshole. I almost shit bricks. Lloyd burst out laughing. Did you really think there was someone? That was me who wrote the messages on the wall in the blood with the blood paint. I bought it in a joke shop, just like the lamp with the silhouette that you saw in the window. I think this is what they call the magic lantern. Thought it would be two separate tricks, but I got a really great combo. What a trickster, but how did you manage to fool us if you were here all the time? I set the lamp down and went down after Martin. I knew he would want to smoke, so he would just see the light in the window. Well, you planned it really well. Cool show. Sure you're sick of getting annoyed with these fearful ghost stories. Lloyd nodded. Ghosts do not exist, and if you meet one, tell him I said hello. Took the board from Ella's hands and threw it into the old chest with the toys, which fell on its side. One by one, the blocks ominously and slowly rolled out from the darkness of the chest. Oh, God. They turned, span with their sharp, cold, blinking corners until the letters formed a word. Hello! Fear appeared on everyone's faces. Oh, God. Lloyd couldn't say a word. This fool was scared to death. What? What is happening? Why have you wasted such a good trick? You should have done this hello thingy first and then confess. The word hello wickedly flashed under the moonlight once. That wasn't me. His eyes showed the genuine fear everyone believed in. Lloyd, of course, is stupid, but he's not a complete fool. Oh, God. He wouldn't try another trick after he cracked. His harmless greeting turned into something that made the blood run cold. Everyone was staring at these letters as if they were the eyes of a killer that has a gun to their heads. Now their veins weren't filled with blood, but freezing ice. The sharp and cold knife of truth was about to cut their world into pieces, and they would step into the new reality of madness. No one wanted to believe in it, but there was no doubt about it. No one wanted to see it, but they couldn't look away. The cold wind touched his skin, squeezing their organs and making the cry burst from their throats. The tubes started twitching, and suddenly they rose into the air and floated like someone hanged them by the strings. Oh, God, it's a spooky dead kid with no face. The girl appeared before us. She was no more than 6 years old. Her light dress was like a leaf in the wind. The fear ripped out the souls from our bodies. The girl was staring at us. No, she was staring at Kate. She was on the edge. She couldn't even scream. Fear locked her scream inside her as a silent guard and didn't let it out. Her face was a mess. It seemed that if she could shout, all of her organs would be spitted out. The girl touched her lips. Her with her fingers and smile. What lips? She's got a skeleton face. But then her dress began burning and she screamed. Her little hands were peeling the skin off her face. Small pieces of human leather was lighting up the hell hole. Carpet was buried under the flesh and the girl disappeared. Somehow we got back to our world. Even I was scared, but not because I'm afraid of ghosts. The scene reminded me about the car accident long ago, and it appeared to me that she was just mocking me. Everyone but Kate rushed downstairs. She was standing with her eyes closed and repeating something as if it was a spell. No, how could it be you? You're dead! Dead, you! What are you talking about? Run! Vaughn grabbed her hand and together they ran down the stairs. We need to get out of here. Grace and the rest of us just started packing up in haste. They only took some things that were close. We must get to the car. Well, I warned you there could be consequences. Freaking consequences? You're crazy, bitch. You almost killed us all in that room. Be careful. The girl appeared behind Lloyd and she was wearing the same dress as before. She was burned alive. Pretty sure that this girl died during the fire. I mean, Kate couldn't kill her with a flamethrower, right? Kate came to her senses. Looks like she realized how terrifying the situation was and wanted to run away as fast as she could. She rushed to the door, clutching her fashionable purse. Thought she had everything under control, but what if Kate runs away? I can't let that happen. Do I trust her? Oh, good, we got a trophy. Blind faith. Everything will be fine. Just need to trust her. If I start doubting her, then I won't be sure in anything at all. Finally, Kate got to the car. She began pulling the handle, and her body shivered in fear, but the door wouldn't budge. Ella, throw me the keys. Ella threw the keys, and they flew in Kate's direction, but the girl didn't catch them. Fell into the thick grass. The girl was feverishly searching the ground for salvation. Her face looked like as though she was digging into someone's innards with blood gushing from her. Her eyes were full of fear. Kate couldn't find the keys. They just disappeared. The girl pulled the handle hard once more, hoping that her guardian angel would open up the door. Maybe she was too scared to run, but where could she hide from this living nightmare? The child's room with greetings from hell or to the dark forest. No place safe. That girl in the dress was at the porch staring at Kate. Suddenly she raised her hand like a maestro of death. Kate screamed. In a second there was a huge explosion. The car blazed in the night. It was slaughtered as if it had tons of explosives in it. Mangled metal fell on the grass and tore away the door. And the torn away door was hanging on the tree like a hangman. Bloody rain started to paint the scenery red. A human heart landed within inches of my foot. And it made me throw up. Everybody started screaming, but not because their friend was torn apart like a piñata. They were looking at the car's leftovers, from which innards of a burning girl was crawling out. Yes, it was her. It was Kate. A skeleton, actually. It was decorated with burnt pieces of flesh like a New Year's tree with toys. He rushed to the guys and almost caught one of them. What is this thing? What have you done with Kate? Are you a fool or what? Get out of here! The footballer grabbed Martin's hand and pulled him straight to the house. Ella shut the door. The heck was that? Everyone looked at me. Lord started shaking me so hard I couldn't even say a word. And after Kate's innards, I got real sick, so I almost threw up. What have you summoned? Shitty slut, I'll kill you. Let it go. Now we have more important problems to deal with. I was surprised that Martin was so calm. What on earth must happen to make him worry? Probably he's so popular among the girls because his nerves of steel. He's pretty handsome too. Suddenly we heard a loud gnashing sound. Ella went to the door. Something was scratching it from outside. Actually, everyone already knew what was there. The question was, how could it be? This is just sick. What happened to Kate was a mystery. Even I didn't have any explanation of this strange transformation. What can I say? I met the ghost with pyrokinesis for the first time ever. I was crushed by what I saw, and I was slightly deafened by the explosion itself. This sound, it seemed to come from another world, through the ringing in my ears. I've heard this thing scraping my mind. It's unbearable, as if it was cutting into my heart. I've always hated this part of the ritual. Deliverance. Now at any moment, something could go wrong. Look, this thing is at the window. It's easy to break. We must hide on the upper floors. Ella panicked and ran away from the window. But we still could hide in the woods and get to the highway somehow. This won't give us a chance. We can leave this house only as corpses. We got a better plan. Yeah, we kill the asshole. We don't even know what it is. Why hasn't it broke the window yet? Can't. The deadly creature was smashing the glass with its head, painting it red, but it couldn't damage the window. The house is some kind of cage. You can go in or out only through the exit. Well, it seems to be more relaxed, but still frightened. Looks like we're still safe here. Don't be happy yet, big guy. The thing is outside, waiting for us to kill it. No, there's a better way. We will kill the psychic girl. He pointed at me with his trembling fingers, but I wasn't afraid of him. I was afraid of the dead. The hunt had begun. You wouldn't be scared of the maniacal fly in the spider's web. Let's kill her. That thing came for her. I know it. She summoned it. You saw everything with your own eyes. You insane. I'm innocent, moron. You're the only one who you were the one who made me do it. How could I foresee this shit? I went out the window and realized the creature wasn't there. Began scratching the door again. Help me, somebody. Oh my god, it's Kate's voice. She is alive. Are you nuts? Did you miss the explosion, girl? It just can't be her. Use your brain. No way, don't touch the door, idiot. It was too late. The skeleton hand caught the girl's wrist through the door wide open. Gotcha. Martin took a baseball bat and rushed the girl to hit the skeleton's hand, clutching Ella's wrist. Heard a loud crack. Someone just got their teeth. A real tough cookie. Martin fractured the creature's radius bone, and it fell to the floor and smashed to pieces. Dead Kate tried to catch Ella's throat by the other hand. Worry. Thank you for shouting that to our Nika. Dead Kate tried to catch Ella's throat by the other hand, but Martin pushed the door and it cut off the monster's limb. Heard a loud shriek from the other side of the door, so loud that the glass should break into pieces. And then the bones on the floor turned into little bugs. Ew, that was gross. They crawled through the door and got under it and left the house. Where did you get that, dude? I thought that if we would be in the middle of nowhere, we should have something to defend ourselves. So the baseball bat would be useful, and it was. But thanks for saving me, but why are you so calm? Your girlfriend is a living corpse. That is strange. Very, very strange indeed. You know why I don't panic? Because we panic, we die, understand? Or do you think I have something to do with it? You are so cold-blooded. Is it normal? I mean, you dated for months. He was cheating on me with Austin Blouser behind my back for weeks, okay? Kate was a slut. Slut dies, but I didn't want such a death for her. I mean, it was too much, so cut it off, will you? Why don't you say anything, baby? I thought you just wanted to screw me behind Kate's back. That's okay with me, you were cute. It was my revenge. I think I just couldn't resist such a girl, sweetie. We love birds, what should we do? We will kill you when this nightmare ends. Can't kill him. You're the only person who knows what is happening. Who else knows something about ghosts and monsters? Everyone was silent. I know some things. Even a handful of powder can be deadly. Let her start talking or I'll break her neck, so how do we kill it? It's not that simple. And what is? Be killed by this thing? Ashley, you must help us. It will be the best birthday present. What do we know? We can't get inside and we can't get out. I agree with Martin. We must kill it. How? I have no idea. Right now, we were allies. We had something in common. We wanted to kill this thing. But the reasons were different. Though I still wanted to get out of here alive like the others, that made me want it dead even more. That was the most important part of the ritual. Otherwise, all is in vain. Closed my eyes and saw myself standing on the floor covered with stone crumbs. Saw the rays of the sun stretching to my eyes through the glass windows of the abandoned factory. Heard the howling of the steel pipes looking down at me like judges. The machinery and tools were quiet. It was too quiet. I felt their gaze upon my back every minute. They were watching me with genuine interest. What will she do next? My quiet voice rose upon the graves of silence. The sharp string of my voice cut the stitches out on my mouth. But I could fill the dead hallways and speechless rooms with my screams. So I asked her, how should I kill it? I'm afraid this time you're on your own. Her icy smile and demonic gaze made me feel goosebumps. But could she be blamed? Was the other she? And I didn't like the changes that had happened to her. She gave me the chance, and I used the opportunity. I just had no choice. The other path was a delusion, and the road signs points only in one direction. Even when I tore apart the monster's body and I took the peacemaker out of its rotten guts to destroy it, I still thought that it was my life. I could make things right. But my life already belonged to her. The choice was made. The game began. I was engulfed by the memories, but only for a minute. In a second, I already knew my next step. When ghost hunting, people often use amulets or spells because it's impossible to damage ghosts physically. They are kind of dead and not even here. They are the past that can't be reached by the present. I can! I have a spell that will just do the trick. That will give the ghost girl flesh for a moment, and the monster, I had no idea what to do with it. This would be enough to finish the ritual successfully. Couldn't tell the guys how the ghost should be killed, tell about the object which connects the ghost to this world because the plan could be ruined. I don't want them to pull the trigger on my gun. It's my only task. Materialization of a ghost is my first step. The assassination of the ghost is the second. All of us must use the spell or it will be too suspicious. By the way, the material enemy will give them hope. To win. Hope only. They'll be along my side so I can control them, but they won't be running for me or the ghost. It is good. Of course, they couldn't kill it. She will grant flesh to the ghost. They cut out her name on their skin. I have an idea, but I'm afraid you won't like it so much. I don't like it already. Can't make it worse. Pierce me with her eyes. Her wish is that she could break my neck, as if I were a turkey to be cooked on Thanksgiving Day. In my eyes, she saw the reflection of herself torturing my body. Hearing the chains and gleaming blades, her brother was standing in blood asking, "Are you okay?" He could even hold a camera, shooting their favorite movie. Of course, she finds him after all. Will she find him? That's the question, and all this wasn't okay at all. I feel someone's presence in this house. Suddenly, Lloyd's eyes became red coals. He rushed at me. A speeding train can't be stopped. Out of your frickin' mind, did you see what you've summoned, did you? Peel the skin off of her face, back at the nursery. Killed Kate, turned her into that creature thing. You understand that you'll kill us all, freak? They want to help us, the girl's parents. It's our best chance. Great idea, let's summon a bunch of ghost lunatics so they'll finish us quickly. If you ask me, we're already doomed. Goddamn my frickin' imagination. My mind pictured how amongst the candles the gate to hell appeared with the ghosts crawling out. They filled the ground floor, then the stairs, the first floor, the second. There were so many of them. They needed to divide our limbs into such small pieces, such that Kate's finger is a delicious feast in this dark realm. Before I could see anything so disgusting, my imagination ran out of battery. Don't have to summon them. They want to give us something. As far as I can tell from the words of the girl's father, he can help us kill the thing. Lloyd was going to say something, but Ella interrupted him. Wouldn't count on some ghost father of a mad dead girl, but it's better than nothing, and it looks like a chance. I don't like the idea either, but we really don't have a choice. The documents in the desk in his study. He was doing research on ghosts, but something went wrong, and his daughter set herself on fire while he was away. Now she's controlling the monster. It's her new toy. But the Ouija said I had to interrupt her. It was driving me mad. It was such a pain to make up these stories, so I didn't want to get the critical reviews on my scenario. It's Lloyd, did you forget that already? I think this girl's our main target. She tried to kill us. Maybe the father wants to help. Father has my point of trust. So why is the girl? That's her problem. I would trust neither little brat nor her old man. You're so smart, then finish her on your own. Threw the baseball bat to Lloyd and burst the door wide open. It's good that I knew that the thing was near the car now, not at our front door. Lloyd screamed in fear. Maybe if he was more quiet, it wouldn't even notice us. But he was screaming so loudly that the dead of the graveyard on the outskirts of the city could hear. No, shut it. The creature rushed to the door, and now everyone screamed. Kate's corpse almost peeked inside the house. Long arms clutched the rail of the porch, but we could feel her dead cold fingers grabbing our hearts, beating in horror. We were so frightened that I thought the guy would have a heart attack. He hysterically threw the baseball bat at the monster's head and hid his face in his hands. Martin's face changed. He clenched his teeth. He was like a different person now. Bared his teeth and pushed me with his shoulder hard, so hard that I was almost kicked out of the house. Don't be an idiot, Ashley. If she didn't hold me, I would be there outside the house. Martin wanted me there. He wanted to kill me. Maybe he knew something, maybe he just got sick of me, but there was no doubt he wanted to kill me. Frickin' bloody killer, Martin, after all, you deserve to be punished. This has taken a lot longer than I was expecting. Since... How long the beat said it was like an hour long. And JoJo's freaking out, so I'm gonna BRB. Alright. What the hell? We're already in deep shit. This thing gets in here, will be the end, and sorry about that, I didn't mean to push you. Don't be stupid next time. Really sorry I couldn't help. Maybe he was lying to me, and why do I care anyway? You won't make it out alive anyway. That was so cool, big guy. Blake couldn't say a word because Martin beat him up already. It was my favorite bat, just for the record. Martin punched Lloyd and kicked him in the stomach. Ella tried to stop him. I think he's had enough already. Let's find the document. Martin, calm down. We'll have to find them. He helped Lloyd to get up. I'm sorry, but I'm very upset that I lost it. He almost beat the guy to death because of some baseball bat. But he nearly ignored his girlfriend's death. Martin, you are such a mystery. Lloyd, Martin, Grace, and I went upstairs. Ella stayed on the first floor to be on guard. She wasn't a coward, but a nice girl. When I saw her hands shaking, we followed the voice, which I kind of hear in my head. Of course, it guided us to the documents. My mind was full of thoughts when guessing of what was about to happen next. But still, the most interesting were the victims. The house, along with these guys, was just a box full of candles. Candies, I'm sorry. They all had the chocolate skin and rotten soul sinking in the bloody cream. Bones, teeth, and flesh revealed themselves to remind us about the past. Some people try to forget their horrible secrets, others put them in a jewel box and peek inside to remember the true self. Some don't even try to hide their past. It is the centerpiece of their collection. They keep it safe in a glass jar and take care of it, wiping dust from it every day of the week, like Martin Graham. I know that he has a collection of such jaws somewhere inside his dead heart. Death is not a tragedy for him, it's his reason of existence. You have the right vision of the thing as usual. I was always fond of your way of thinking. As I can read your thoughts, you are my favorite book, Ashley. Don't screw with my head, and I'm not some stupid book. Yeah, I'm a VHS tape. But I have nothing else to do while these assholes are searching for the documents. Ashley. And the last story about the Midnight Curse was much better than this. It is not for you to decide which story I should tell, and I am so angry at you right now. We are in serious shit because of your innovations. 2 monsters at a time was just the best idea, thanks a lot. How am I supposed to kill them? I thought that it won't be bad to make the show more interesting, since otherwise I would bored to death. You always kill them so easily, boring. It is not some kind of boss in a RPG. You kill the one, the other dies. It's that simple. Don't try to fool me, even if ouch! My head struck the wall. Ha ha ha, that was brilliant. You were too focused on this document. You didn't notice the wall. This ouch of yours. Ah ha ha ha, hilarious. Go to hell. Who are you talking to? Yeah, the wall, I guess. Here's the cabinet. I remember how I was looking. Ha 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 ha, chair. Here's the cabinet. I remember how I was looking for newspapers for the Doll Inquisition, but the room was empty. Well, it isn't now. We entered the cabinet. Oh, God. Everything in this room hinted on some research. Mostly, it was theoretical, as there were no signs of the experiments. Pile of paper rested on the table, and some files were scattered around the floor. Schemes and pictures were pinned to the wall, and well, a strange shelf with jars and medicine made me think of this place as a mad scientist lair. One of the walls was decorated by a deer's head, and above it, a shotgun was hanging. There was a door to a balcony in the room, but we couldn't open it. There was no way out. Lloyd panicked. He took the gun off the wall, pointed at me. What the hell are you doing? We're all in this shit together. I didn't pay attention to Lloyd's aggressive gestures towards me. I looked on the barrel of the gun and smiled wryly. I knew that the gun isn't loaded. You won't scare me, boy. I continued to examine the desk drawer, and soon the document and her newspaper. It was her favorite trick. The newspaper was empty for now, and in the document I could find the spell of ghost materialization. Show it to everyone. This will do just the thing, and we can use the gun for the monster, I think. Lloyd pinned his fingers in the gun like it was a lifeboat and carry him away from the sea of nightmares. Joe, you stop that. Not even close. It was just a weapon without ammo, though in seconds I gave him a pack of metal shells. Here for hunting. If we are lucky, we could kill some game. This isn't a store. Take this and be grateful. I took the knife which was lying on the table. It's such luck to find it here. I grinned. The knife cut my skin, and a drop of blood followed its blade. With surgical precision, trying not to touch the veins, I was carving the materialization spell. Only to do that? That's what the ghost said? I nodded. Everyone carved the spell on their skin, but Grace. The girl hesitated to follow my example, but she finally took off the bracelet, and the knife appeared in her hand. Martin's face changed. What are you doing? Why did you take it off? Put it on. Put the thing on immediately, Grace. What's wrong with you? I can't do it with my left hand. At that moment, Martin clutched Grace's hand and put the bracelet on her hand, and then he realized what he was doing. Bracelet brings luck. You have more chances to get out of here alive. Maybe I should put it on. If Grace refuses, you won't dare. Martin wanted to hit Lloyd, but he pulled the trigger. Martin dodged the shotgun and the shell broke the glass. The medicine shelf. Frickin' asshole. Hey, calm down, both of you. I don't give a shit about the bracelet. The girl smashed the present on the floor and took the shotgun. Lloyd, you idiot, you almost killed Martin. You should be more careful with that. Lloyd looked very guilty, and Martin, as if nothing had happened, took the bracelet and put it into his pocket. Never mind, are you guys ready? Grace wiped the blood from the skin. Yes, now I'm ready. He heard a scream. We got past our disagreements at once. It was time for us to go down the stairs and face the danger. Chick, 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 ha-ha! The scene that I saw was terrifying enough. Ella curled in fear beside the wall. The door was wider. The creature was standing in the center of the hall. A little girl was hovering from behind. Her fingers seemed to squeeze invisible threads, the end of which were sinking in the remains of the human flesh on the skeleton of Kate. Only now I noticed how chaotic and quick the movements of her head and body were. Oh God, oh no. Like a poorly staged play, I'll kill them all. The story is so shockingly bad that it seems the creature itself didn't know what to do with all these screeching teenagers. Oh yes, he utterly screeched. Even me, it's hard to resist, as if someone yawns, very sticky. Hey, maybe there's something left of her still, the wretched little soul hanging in a web of guts and blood, slowly approaching Ella. She was shaking all over. It seemed that she wanted to escape from the invisible cage, but could not. She wanted to run away, or on the contrary, to strangle Ella and then Grace for winning the beauty contest. Her mouth hole reminded me of a crescent moon. Kate's skeleton shouted as if to her fans, "Look at me, here I am, the real beauty queen." When my bald head burns a flame in the form of a crown, my fans come on, support me. And then out of the empty eye holes, 2 antennae showed up. Cockroaches run out of her eye sockets and the worms creep out of her ears. All of them chant, "Kate, miss the world." Kate is the queen of beauty. Beauty kills. One of the cockroaches remarked. She killed Keith. Rivers. More precisely, her absence, noted the cockroach with longer oftenas. My mind put me somewhere else once again, I guess. Oh, my frickin' imagination. Allie, you doing there? Quick, run to the other upstairs. Martin runs down the stairs and pointed the gun at the creature. Now, that was one hell of a twist. Lloyd was dumbstruck a minute ago. It was him who held the gun, and now his hands were empty His hands were empty. His fingers were cold. You want to be picking lead out of your stomach, motherfucker? Hey, we got our first F-bomb. Let's go. It seemed that Martin wanted to finish him quick. At the click of the slide, and like a thunderclap, there was a deafening shock. His face half demolished. No, I'm sorry for the a mistake, half the skull.
Oh, fucking poggies, I did.
Well, there was, of course, some skin on it, but I still wouldn't call it a face. This couldn't be powdered. I don't think it was water. I said water. Hey, there's the water. Creature backed away, but the girl behind her waved her arms, obviously urging the monster to kill Martin. Although the scene did immediately move my idea of controlling threads of a dark puppeteer to the darkest corners of my mind. Kate's skeleton opened her toothy, bony mouth, or rather what was left of it. I thought that now this skull will crack, but no! All was good for the monster, of course. Martin was clearly not one of those who can surrender. His hands seemed to have completely refused to see him as master. In general, they refused to be human. And like some kind of mechanism, they quickly started loading the gun and shooting. They were no longer led by Martin. There was not even the slightest certainty that anything remained of him. Now these fingers, these hands, and the whole limb were guided by the idea of surviving at any cost. Everything would be fine, but these shots were so loud that it seemed as if Martin was standing right in my head and shooting at the monster. He even missed, bastard. I'm guessing that this is a European game. I don't know the language or the location of the dev, because the translation is very weird. It also has spelling errors and grammatical errors and type and other shit. All these damned bullets were piercing my brain, making my head ache. I do not know, maybe I have a very sensitive nature. But he doesn't know it, moreover the monster doesn't know it either, and even if he did know it, wouldn't help the case. But at the moment when the shot broke through the cervical spine of the monster, my heart trembled. Martin nearly broke her damned locket, which for a moment flashed out on the monster's neck. The object. Saw a lot of objects in my short life. Medallions, necklaces, rings, no fantasy at all. They can barely be seen by the human eye and exist simultaneously in two worlds, ours and the other world. They let the ghost stay here. Humans must escort them to the door with the inscription. Exit. Meanwhile, it became hot in here, and it's time to join the fight. I looked at everyone else. They tremble like pigs in the pen who were suddenly granted a mind and realized that a butcher stands before them. Must help him. He will run out of ammunition. Who knows when we will need them? Don't just stand there. Do something. I began to push Lloyd from the stairs, but the guy didn't want to go to the battlefield. He clenched his fingers on the stairway rail so firmly that I would need to cut his hands off to get him to move. Are you insane? Stop this madness, mad chick. He is the one with the gun. His voice sounded threatening, but he was spooked, and he was shaking. He was shaking so much that I thought now all of the steps will begin to jump up like a child's xylophone. Well, what had I expected from him, but if in the presence of this pile of muscles I immediately rushed into battle, it would be least strange. Above, something flashed. On the second floor, right next to the last step, was laying an axe. Thanks. She didn't say anything, but I could feel her smile tighten and the corners of my lips suddenly turned into snakes that wrap around my neck. Turn into a loop. But before she caught my throat, just before jumping into the void, I was able to overcome uncertainty and fear. It's not the first time, but who said that it's easy to kill a monster? Whoever said that it's easy to kill? Clearly remembered me standing in the middle of the last shards of the mental hospital. Brian smiled. The first ghost appeared. It was a girl. She looked at me with her faded eyes and called me into her world, but I didn't go. I poked a loaded revolver in the object that was her bind to our world, a piggy bank, which in her hands and fired. It was easy, only for a moment, but it seemed to last forever, and it seemed that I drowned in the abyss of her dead eyes. I have fallen into her dead brain and got lost in a labyrinth of convulsions. All these thoughts whizzed through my head. My instincts were quicker than my doubt, and almost instantly. In order not to change my mind, I rushed to the axe and then went down to Martin. The legs until you break them. It sounded at least like an order from the commander, and then probably more because of how it did sound rather than actual logic, so the guy did. A swarm of metal spheres flew from the muzzle. Shot struck the bottom of her leg. One of the balls was stuck in the patella, and at the same time, it was in my head. More balls were embedded in the bone. Just fell behind the creature. A few more shots were fired, but the bone didn't want to break. I already wanted to say, what the hell, man, just give me the gun. but I only had to break the locket by all means while pretending I had chopped off the creature's head. How difficult is it? Damn it, I swore to myself. If this asshole doesn't bother to fight off a dead stinker's leg, I'll cut it to pieces. But he could not do it with 2 more shots. I was ready to admit that he did not shoot at all with bullets, but with their shadows or even ghosts. And maybe he just missed. In general, when my patience began shorten, forcing me to slaughter a bastard, a miracle happened. Finally, I heard the long-awaited crack. Bone crunched, and pulling the scraps of meat behind it, began to bow to the floor. The bullet, which overgrew the bone's body strength, became real and punched the damn bone. The battering ram destroyed the tower of the citadel, and the monster fell. I ran abruptly to the monster and wanted to hit his hand with the axe, but the dead Kate seemed to be quicker than the live Kate. She jerked her hands away, and the axe densely entered the living floor, breaking through the hands. I jerked it out with all my strength, but it was stuck. Her laughter was heard. For a second, it seemed to me that a sharp row of her teeth flashed on the blade of the axe. She smiled. Perhaps it gave me strength, and maybe she decided to help me. I do not know how, but I still managed to free up the axe and bring it back for a blow. As a sentence, the guillotine blade fell to the head of the creature. Heavy metal cut the cervical section. I did not cut the medallion with my next step. This monster could be reborn and come with renewed strength. And we do not need this shit. To hide the exact direction of my blow, I began to beat the creature more and more, pretending that I was hysterical. But what is happening is just driving me crazy. Inch by inch, the skin on the dead skeleton began to appear, and soon I saw Kate. Her head was still separated from the torso. The wounds were healed! There was a cry. It was the ghost girl. I did not pay any attention to her. Blood poured over my face. My fingers tightly squeezed the axe. This trick of hers I saw for the first time. She did not cease to amaze me. I felt how the cold energy began to fill me, as if my body was under the ice. It's like she's coming home from work, unlock the door, and change into her home clothes. Although I do not know if there is a work in the world of the dead that suits her age, my hands began to tingle and my eyes shed tears. A tooth which I tightly clenched in my pocket cut my fingers. She is ready. With measured steps, she walks down the corridor, touching the walls with her cold, pale fingers, as if touching my skin. I knew where she was going, and when the dining room door opened, I knew how hungry she was. Her mouth widened, and her eyes became black holes, but only for a moment. She went to the table and lifted the lid off the tray. The room was filled with the unbearable smell, rotten organs and blood. Under it laid the insides. What's happening? Heart, a brain, and guts were wrapped around skin flaps near them on the delicacy plates. Laid immediately laid eyes. Her thin fingers slowly lowered, took one eye very carefully, like it was precious treasure, which it swallowed. Took another organ and and it also went into her mouth. She ate the rest of the insides, wrapping them around a fork, piercing after cutting the heart and brain into small pieces to make it look convenient to chew. There's once again being a little shit. Envy with the taste of contempt. Oh, it was an ideal combination. Swallowed, I didn't like these images in my head at all, but what could I do? I have always said that I have too lively of an imagination. She always used it against me at any convenient moment. All the time, it seemed to her that everything was too simple, that drama scene was too little. Since we are not doing this often, we must savor every moment, enjoy every second. Perhaps she wanted to share her happy moments with me. In any case, the scene in my head almost made me sick to my stomach. Did you see it? She became human again. Martin looked at me. He didn't lower the gun. Yes, it was too fast to comprehend. There was a moment when I thought that I'm already dead or that this is just a very bad dream. We didn't have a choice. Good job, Ashley. Nice, we need to get out of here. Turn left to the exit. What the hell? My hands finally reached for freedom. More closed shut. I didn't look at it, as I knew that there was no exit. Oh no, that can't be. Shit. Martin aimed at the lock and made a shot. Another one. They saw the holes in the door. That lock remained intact. Gun. The guy looked through it. Like a transparent tape. The chain scratches were sheen not too well, but it was clear that we were close. What the hell? You did this, freak! Saw that Grace wanted to say something, but she didn't. If she did so, her brother would be punished. I was no pro at kidnapping, but I needed to gain the control of Grace by any means. It was made I held her brother as a hostage. No, of course, it was just a trick. It's her brother wanting to prank his sister, Andy. Lloyd punched Martin in the face, and the guy fell down. The Mad Bull ripped the weapon from Martin's grasp. It's my payback, you asshole. He pointed the shotgun at me for a moment, and I thought I lost, but he seemed so confident in his power that he was about to make a mistake by underestimating me. I don't need bullets because I don't want to kill you. I'll beat you with this damn thing until you help me to get out of this shit. Grace smirked, and without her tips, I was in danger. I understood what I was doing when I agreed, and Lloyd had a lot of reasons not to trust me. And then in the factory, if the control center had not exploded, which should not have been working, by the way, I would have been cut in two. He was already stepping in my direction, throwing up his gun. I was scared. I was not afraid of the pain that he could cause me, but the consequences of the failure that could shake the most daring imagination. I began to slowly climb up the stairs. Come to Daddy, Ashley. Lloyd looked at me with ravenous eyes, like I was his prey. I couldn't even understand. Oh, for fuck's sake. Wanted to rape me and then kill me, or vice versa. I could not imagine what was happening in his head, what thoughts were behind those eyes, sharp like blades that stripped my body. Then I realized I was wrong. Still, it was very, very scary. Simply insane. He devoured by the idea of killing me, destroying me. All of his gestures told me that he wanted blood. His teeth flashed in the light of the pale moon. And his fingers, like the claws of a bird of prey, dug into the railing. He said he would beat the information out of me, but that was far from the truth. Precisely, he would do something terrible with me right after he receives the answers. They would not satisfy. Although, even if the door had opened, he would have killed me. Probably he is a notorious killer. The number of his victims is 2. And now I heard them. They were near. Each second when he was getting closer to me, they also took a step forward. Lloyd had completely gone mad. He quietly laughed and began to sneak up the stairs as if afraid. To frighten me. He's a hunter and I'm a game. All the same, he could not stand it and threw himself at me. He grabbed me by the hood and almost pushed me off the stairs. He wanted to hit me with his head on the step of the skull. God, how he wanted to see my cursed brain step on it, climb up the career ladder of a killer to go higher. He wanted to, but had hid his desire all these years. Martin is not as mad as him. I'm sure that there's a lot of victims behind him. Martin killed them neatly with love. If I may say so, he counted them and remembered forever. For this psychopath, he killed once, and since then he could not remember the taste of blood, as if he was afraid of something. But he's not afraid anymore. Damn those eyes. He remembered the taste. Now it overflows within him. Fucking hungry. I'm already like twice the length of how long the beats. Give me a quick sec, chat. Well, there's a 100% platinum walkthrough. It's 2 hours. God damn, we're only at like the halfway mark. Somebody else's video is like 2 hours long. But then again, this might be... Oh, whatever, we'll keep at it for now. Might have to break this into 2 parts, baby! Unless that, like, 2 hour long video is, like, replaying something. Blood draining like scarlet snakes on his tongue and pouring all around his face. The guy was drowning in it, seeing in front of him only a red veil of hatred, anger, and incredible thirst. So, it's like the Bioshock background. I guess maybe it's a generic stock background. Anyway. The Psycho attacked me for the first time. I broke free, but Lloyd hit my leg with a metal barrel and I began to limp a little, and I managed to still managed to climb higher. I accidentally skipped something. He again swung his weapon at me and hit me in the temple. I almost died on the spot, but still had some strength. She gave it to me when I touched the tooth. Dragged my leaded body to the second floor. I dipped my finger in the blood and drew her symbol. She would give me even more strength. I felt much better. The pain was overshadowed. I rushed to the office and saw that there was a revolver on the desk, old, slightly rusted, with faded inscription, most likely loaded and created a few minutes ago. I medically grabbed it and began to look for a safe place, like a trap beast. I was wondering why she was speechless. I wanted her advice, what to do next. Then I realized that she was not interested in helping me so much because then, from all this action-packed scene, she won't have an exciting show. Unfortunately, I could not start a dialogue with her first. She did not hear me. The door to the balcony suddenly opened, and I immediately realized that this was an invitation addressed to me. The hands of the wind were calling me, gently touching my cheeks and stinging a wound on my forehead. I was already close enough. I ran to the balcony, and the psychopath rushed after me. Moon illuminated his crooked face with its pale colors, and from this he looked even more insane. Over. Now you will be playing only by Daddy's rules, my girl. There's a noise. Maybe it was steps. Perhaps Grace and Ella did not really want to get involved before his half-wit. I think Martin was already awake. Could be him, or it's just a branch knocking on the glass. Everything is possible in this strange world. Maybe I should just jump down in the darkness and break my neck, maybe, but she won't let me. I would like to shoot a bullet into Lloyd's head. No, of course, I won't kill him. But who said that I can't shoot him in the foot or something like that? Ghost said, that's who. Can't do anything to Lloyd or anyone else. All the pain must belong to them. Otherwise, all is in vain. She still gave me the weapon, knowing that I could not use it. I could hear her laughing. I squeezed the revolver in my hands, and she started to fear that I would kill him. And I could. Did not have to answer for my actions anymore. To hell with this deal, I'll just kill the motherfucker. And come what may, God knows how my temple hurts and how he pisses me off. The moon lit up the balcony like a searchlight, brightening the scene, and the show was about to begin. I already heard them. They were close, right behind me. Down there, under the balcony, I leaned over the railing and felt the cold flow of air coming from below. Aimed at Lloyd and took my hand away so the bullet did not hit him. Hold the trigger. Want to kill me, idiot? Go ahead, shoot. Took my hand and pressed it to his chest. Squeezed my finger on the trigger. Click, misfire. I am immortal. My deeds are immortal. You can't do anything about it, frickin' witch. Snatched my hand away and threw the revolver from the balcony so as not to accidentally wound this motherfucker. Lloyd came at me and put the metal barrel to my temple. Meeny, money, mo. Catch a witch girl by the toe. Surprise, don't let her go. Take a knife and cut her throat. Fell silent. His hand holding onto the barrel weakened his eyes instead of madness. They clearly showed fear. Someone grabbed his right hand. It's a dark-haired girl. She quickly climbed onto the balcony and a young guy followed. As the balcony was quite high, I had no doubt that this couple were ghosts. They both had the same tattoo as Lloyd's, a lizard. The girl's hair was blown back by the wind. Her white neck gleamed from the reflection of the pale moon in the glass. Nadine? Tom? They didn't say a word. Perhaps they had something to say to him, only their mouths were stitched up. As always, a frightening image of a vengeful ghost. The glassy eyes reflected Lloyd's distorted face. As if seams had parted, they would have screamed in pain or despair. I stepped back, the spirits are already gone. The ghosts left me alone with the mad guy. It was strange. Hey, Cal. Thought that they were now teaching him a lesson. I could feel how they rushed to him to finish him off. But she seemed to hold them back. They were like chained dogs who can't resist the will of their mistress. Sounds good. Have a good night. Hello. Good night. Lloyd clenched his teeth and tried to hit me on the head with a weapon, but I dodged it. Goddamn your freaking games again. You can say my name and let me in, then I will finish the boy myself. Bent so Lloyd could throw me across the railing. Crumbs of pain fell on my hood. Now you will have them. Only using the book. The guy grabbed me by the throat and slowly began to lift. I am very light, so it's easy to throw me from the balcony. Well, then let me delay this sweet moment of denouncement. A little tension always arouses my interest, you know. Help me, goddammit. Okay, now have fun. Lloyd's wrist hurt, and then he released me. I walked away from the railing. Heck. It is very difficult to dodge his attacks. Lloyd was very tough and strong, yet he was insane. I knew that the person who is off their rocker is much stronger than normal. He grabbed me and threw me on the ground. I already thought that I couldn't get up. Then I realized that continuing with madness is meaningless. I need to run away from this monster. Moonlight passed along the rails of the balcony. Looks like a double space almost. Behind them was a window. The window seemed to come out of the wall. I was to admire the scenery, dark forest, in which I couldn't see a damn thing, and the moon that strolled along the branches and crowns of the trees with its pale legs. Pushed Lloyd away and ran to the railing. I climbed on them and then jumped. Putting my hands forward, they sharply grasped the protruding edge. At the same time, I banged my head against the stone, so I almost unclenched my fingers. Spitting blood into the dark abyss of the night, I began to strain my hands to pull myself up. All of my muscles ached! But somehow I did it. I felt dizzy and nearly fell down again. But my self-preservation instinct worked just in time. And ripped the ledge into which the columns of the balconies, third floor, were driven. I clung to it with all my strength. And again, feeling the pain in my joints, I pulled myself up. As soon as I climbed onto the balcony, I immediately fell to the cold stone floor. There was a knock. I jumped, and leaning over the railing, I saw Lloyd, who was hanging, holding onto the ledge. I stepped backstairs. I saw her while I climbed there. Ran up to her and quickly, despite the fact that my whole body ached, I climbed to the roof. That's a ladder, that's not stairs. I have no way to run. Maybe it's time for the show. You're right. Her voice sounded offended. Hello, Saru. It's like I just took a toy from a child. Now, excuse me, the toy clenching its teeth like some kind of mechanism climbed up to me on the roof. Of course, Lloyd was a toy because I was an instrument. He ran at me. The guy was already without a weapon. His hands could already inflict serious bodily harm, or maybe he'll just throw me off the roof. Suddenly there was a strange sound, and before me appeared a dark wall of fluttering wings. The ravens struck Lloyd, but they did not touch him. All the pain must belong to them. The guy was already near the edge of the roof. I screamed with fright when he fell. Then there were ghosts. It seemed to me that I heard their names. Voices whispered, Nadine, Thomas. They caught Lloyd and dragged him to the roof. The crows disappeared and nothing protected me, which means that this is the end. Dragged him screaming into the moonlit spot to make the execution. Very curious what they would do to him. You need to return to the house now. Her voice was tense, readiness, and frightened. I decided not to forget about the main thing. It seemed to me that if I stay for only a couple of minutes, I would put everything I believed in danger. Do not say that my faith is strong now. But there are rules that should not be broken. I need to get back to the guys, no, to the victims. To do this as quickly as possible, I decided to go down through the chimney. Finding the cracked bricks, I hit the crack with my foot. At first, they did not break, so I kicked the stone again. Finally, I managed to break a hole that I could crawl through. Lloyd screamed, and a crunch of bones were heard from behind, but I did not turn around. No time for it. At the chimney, I found small metal ledges under my feet. How nice that she foresaw this happening. Only dropping my legs and fingering the ledges, I descended the lower along the staircase attached to the wall. It's called a ladder. She left it for me here, and the chimney was wide enough for me to descend without any troubles. Once I was on the first floor, I found that it was not so easy to get out. The fireplace was quite small. I sat down on all fours and leaned forward. Let my hands touch the grating. I lifted one foot and pushed it against the stone. There was a crash of grating, and then it broke, and I fell out of the fireplace, rising abruptly. I ran to Ella. Where's Martin? Where is Grace? He has her. The girl was sitting on the mattress, holding her newspaper in her hand. She looked wide-eyed in front of her, and next to me laid my bag. I snatched the newspaper from her hands. Read in this issue, beauty requires a sacrifice. A girl sets on fire the house of her best friend. Won the Miss School contest. Friends can be thick as thieves. A rapist forces his friend to jump off a roof right after he screwed his girlfriend. Rubik intrigue. Serial killer lover is now in your house. Carefully look at yourself in the mirror and make sure that your appearance is not similar to his sister. She received all of the love of her parents. He hated her, and he hates you the same way, Grace Hutton. letter from our readers. Hello, dear Ella. If you're reading this, then I'm already around. Mr. Bubbles still wants to play with you. I'm sure that you are also waiting for this. After all, the last time you just died of waiting to play with him, announcement, I will buy strings. Fortunately, mine are now sticking out of the bleeding wrists. With such, you can't play the guitar. For all questions, please contact Anna Rydberg, Southern Quarter, 7th row, location 1, Ironstone Grove. Grace, where are you, goddammit? Shook Ella. The hell are they? Ella could not answer. No, not because I did not give her enough of my sudden striking. She was scared, and besides, she really did not know. Ella just pointed up. This is not an answer. It's the same as if she did not know. And perhaps it would be better if she did not say anything at all, did not show her existence, did not show her that she was here. I was really pissed off. I hit her in the face. Now I became another Ashley. The killer girl. Ashley the murderer, not the one that summons ghosts and hides behind her. Now I have become the devil himself. It was clear that they were on the upper floors. Martin wanted to kill her, like all those who have been given his bracelets. Looking up, I asked myself the question, am I ready for a meeting with you, lover? Hell yeah, I'm ready. I ran up the stairs. Although I was already very close to the second floor, I seemed to take only the first step. Fear freezed time and eclipsed my mind. Cold hands of dead girls seeped through the steps that I ascended. They grabbed me and wanted me to listen to their stories. Each one of them wanted to yell at me, to pour on me with their blood, which seeped into my mind, swollen by madness. They wanted to rip off my ears and whisper their stories inside of them, spit worms, and throw their insides in my face. They wanted to do anything so that I would pay attention to their voice. They were already there, awoken too fast, suddenly not according to plan. They knew Martin was about to do it again, and even she could not hold them anymore. She should have. I felt the ground beneath me has shifted, but I managed to keep myself together. Skipping a few steps, I was on the second floor. There was a cry. It was Grace. The cry came from the nursery. I climbed the stairs to the third floor and prepared for the worst. The girl was lying on the bed. Her hands and feet were tied, and a familiar bracelet gleamed on her thin wrist. Martin was holding a knife above her. Hearing my steps, the guy turned and pierced me with his gaze. He did not look like himself now. His eyes glittered like sapphires, as if he were going to acquire something that he had always dreamed of. He licked his trembling lips. I'll do it, Ashley. You know that she's mine. You hear them. I know. Now I know. I can hear them too. They are after you. It ends now. I lied, of course. Before it will be over, I still needed to deal with the couple and then destroy the entire harem of Martin. The lover was burning with desire. He was no longer a human. He became a monster. His shadow stretched out and dug his fangs into Grace. No, it's just an imagination, but the steps behind me were not. I turned around. Madness, God, I missed them. Couple was dragging it along the corridor. I recognized the tattoo on the girl's neck, and of course, the sewn-up mouths. They looked like they already dealt with Lloyd, and now wandered around the house in search of new victims. Martin and Grace would be ideally suited for this role. I could not afford it. Not on my watch! For fuck's sake. Right in front of me, as if I had become the very epicenter of events, there was a girl who once belonged to Martin Crane. He belonged to her, Jane Grain. He had huge knives coming from her back, cutting meat. Scars that protruded on the skin in the places where there were glimpses between the bandages, glinted scarlet. She smelled of medicine and blood. Jane was holding bandages in her hands, which were twisted with white snakes on the necks of 3 other girls. They looked like dogs on a leash. Bandages were so tight that I thought, she will strangle them or break their necks. Of course, it was a very stupid idea after all the girls were already dead. I only saw 3 girls who began to approach the couple, but felt the presence of at least 10 or even more. Having examined the commander girl more attentively, I saw that there were still bandages stretching from her hands. 5 on each arm, they waved in the air with white wings. I heard a soft tapping. These are gold and silver plastic bracelets that knock on each other. For a second, my mind seemed to be in a different dimension. I saw girls in a strange dance. One of them held the hand of the other. She grabbed a stub where a hand used to be. The other clung, protruding bone. The third touched the wall with a finger and wrote, "Martin Graham, do you love me?" Then her hand slipped and wrapped around the guy's neck, but she could not kill Martin. Not until Jane commanded her to. The couple was at first, confused, scattered, shaking their heads. Girls tore off the bandages and leaped forward, exposing their sharp teeth. They were digging with their fangs into the bodies of Nadine. Ghosts are fighting? This is Ghost MMA? Let's go. Digging into the bodies of Nadine and Thomas, trying to tear them apart, but they could not kill them without destroying the binding object's tattoos. And I could not allow this. Nadine, who sat on her shoulders, was not able to balance herself and collapsed from the steps, rolling toward the second floor. The glass bracelet broke from a strong blow, and the girl with a cry disappeared. Sally, one of the lover's victims, spit out her tongue and cut it around the neck of the girl with her tattoo, but thank God she did not touch the pattern. Nadine managed to dodge and ran downstairs. If Sally, who is now slips in the grave of Ernstone Grove Cemetery, saw such a picture, she would certainly vomit. If she saw what had become of her, she would share her breakfast with the crows who visit her grave every day, that's for sure. One of the knives, pulling it out of Jane's back, and rushed to Martin, bewildered by what was happening. They hit him in the temple to neutralize the bastard. Jane Green turned to me. Her eyes were covered with bandages, but I knew that her look was definitely unkind. All the pain belongs to her and the girls. Can't kill Martin, but since the blow was not so painful, it seems that she forgave me for this. Thanks. Rushed out of the room and ran downstairs to the first floor, following Nadine, Thomas, and several girls from the horror of Jane. Running down the steps, I saw Sally stand upright. Honestly, I thought that she would remain crawling on all fours. The girl put her hands in her mouth, tearing bandages on her face, and pulled them out, pierced with blades that went under the fingernails. She got closer to Nadine and wanted to slash her neck, but I got just in time between them and blocked the attack with a knife. Yes, let's say that the years of training made me a skilled fighter. However, I'm just human. Sally touched my hand with her claws. Somehow overcome with the pain, I took Nadine by the throat and put it through the middle of the tattoo, sharply pressed on the temple. The girl's head tore off and fell to the floor, the body crumpled to dust. The seams on Thomas's lips parted and he yelled. Worms flew open her mouth. Sally was already coming for a new strike. Time she attacked me, I thought something or other, I don't care. But at that very moment, it became clear that she wanted to kill me as well. Having beaten the blow with a knife, I swung at Sally and she backed away. Turning sharply, I grabbed Thomas by the hand, but he pushed me away and snatched the knife from my weak fingers. Without thinking twice, the guy stabbed a blade in my stomach. He jumped to Sally, cut over her beaded bracelet. Goddamn, I almost died. Closed my eyes, anticipating my death, but no, I can't die like this. My life does not belong to me. In front of me laid the forceps. I knew what I had to do with them, but one of my teeth ached. No, I will not do it. I don't want to. Go to hell. I lost so much blood. Just let me help. Damn, Thomas seemed to think that I was dead. I went upstairs to finish off Martin and Grace. While I did not notice, she seemed to be still sitting in the next room, not giving any sign of life. If she's conscious at all. I frowned and took the forceps and put them in my mouth. Experiencing the internal pain, I grabbed at one of the teeth in the metal grip and pulled. I would not have had the strength to pull the tooth, so she helped me. Forceps flew out of the hands and blood spilled on the floor with a thick, thin trickle. I took her rotten dead tooth, which is now whiter than all of mine, and inserted it into the place of the torn one. I immediately grabbed my flesh, and I gained strength, and most importantly, the wound was drawn out. Did not think I'd have to go that far. 6 teeth already. This number scared me. Thank God a person is 32. Caught up with Thomas, he tried to shred Jane, waving a knife near the doorway of the children's room. Again borrowed a knife from the girl and grabbed the guy by the hand, cut off the skin with his tattoo. It was very sharp, easily passed through the flesh, leaving a bloody exposed bone of his arm, and his body fell. I wanted him to stand up and close the terrible picture. In the middle of the nursery sat Martin. His hands were lying on the floor, and his legs were also separated from the body. Crushing and gnashing of bones, vile sounds of chewing flesh. Girls, led by Jane, surrounded Martin and devoured him. The worst thing is that he's still alive. He yelled and begged to be rescued. I already saw it in the spirits of anger and the back were terrible. They can make a person live after death for a few more seconds. The black magic for that world is really scary. Trying not to look at this horror, one of the girls raised her bandaged head to me. Martin's brush was clamped in her teeth. She, like an inquisitive kitten, turned her head and then returned to her meal. I pulled Grace out of the room, trembling with fear. Horrified, stiffened in her eyes. A cry crept through her lips. It seemed that if she opened her mouth, she would certainly skin them. Somewhere inside me, the door opened, and she went into the hall, lit by thousands of candles of hunger. Her thin hands clutched the beating heart, the teeth dug into red flesh, tearing into the organ. Eagerly began to bite part of the heart into pieces. Flesh pressed and tore, blood dripped on the floor, red patches fell on the floor. I soon removed terrible images of her feast from my mind. Everything's fine, was something or other. Fine, really? The girl didn't say anything. We came downstairs to Ella. At that moment, she had collected her things and was going to leave. Needed to be prepared for the next creature. Will come soon. We must be prepared. Prepared for what? For the eternal afterlife. Do you really think we'll win? She won't let us. The girl wanted to strangle me. Looks like she cared about the fate of her little brother much less than her own. She went mad, just like that, and rushed me. Stop it, enough. I'll kill you, bitch. I'll kill you, shitty slut. Grabbed my throat and began to strangle me. I swung my knife and managed to get out. Soon, Grace took the knife away and raised it to kill me. I took a step back and the knife slapped me. Grace, what are you doing? It's her. She did this. She's killing us. The ritual, all of this, it's her work. If she wanted to kill us, she would have already done that. I don't know. Maybe she's waiting for something. I just don't know. Grace's face suddenly changed. She looked at me. I guess Grace understood that she just couldn't ever become a real threat for me. Not for Ashley Knight, the girl who had just moved to a new school and has lots of enemies already. There was not even a human being who was standing in front of her, but the devil itself. All the remorse, like taking away lives, is a sin. Killing people is bad. It was in my head. I was fighting it. Cut the memories with a huge knife, tortured them, and even tore them apart, but never got rid of them. I knew what I was doing was wrong. He knew that I was a monster, as bad as Pennywise the Dancing Clown from Stephen King's It. No, you're not. I knew myself as such. I didn't accept it. I had no choice. Anyway, Grace saw genuine evil in front of her. She saw the girl who was laughing at her prey, the girl that got satisfaction from stabbing flesh in her heart. I'd lie if I said that killing wasn't funny. But it's just a way to make it less scary, terrifying, and immoral. Just playing a killer, imitating her, even though the guilt is all mine. They started something or other. Don't you dare come near me, asshole. Don't you dare. Her eyes were filled with fear. Her will wasn't broken. She didn't have enough strength to beat me. She couldn't give up so easily. The girl turned around and ran upstairs. I didn't follow her. No need for that. Moreover, Jane with her army just started coming to me. And Ella, little goth girl, noticed my axe stuck in the wooden floor and pulled it out. She nodded understandingly. I wouldn't want to kill her, but I would have to, as she had made her choice. When she crossed the line, I followed them. Actually, I can help her deal with the monsters, but Jane is mine. I pushed my hand in the pocket and took out a tooth. Thankfully, I had several of them. Take this. This thing brings luck. Yeah, some luck is what I really need right now. I was watching in fear, like something like the mummy of Lerner Hydra started walking down the stairs, one by one, filling the room with the odor of blood. It seemed like the walls started rotting everywhere, and these horrible creatures touched them. Bandages were rustling and rubbing against their mutilated and broken bodies. Their black eyes were bottomless black abysses, and now the whole squad with Jane ahead was ready. They rushed to us from all directions. I heard the sound of their teeth blades scratching. Ella was screaming in fear, but was swinging her axe so fast that pieces of flesh were flying off. Sometimes she even managed to destroy the bracelets. Ella practiced dancing so her movements weren't so chaotic. They saw the rhythm and grace. Anyway, it's good enough to kill these assholes. Like a hysterical ballerina, she was going around, blood splashing on her, hugging her with a red dress. Her axe went up and down, slaying the monster girls. But they were just coming, and we were too exhausted to continue the fight. I was swinging my knife, and kept the monsters away from Ella. Fortunately, I couldn't fight forever. I hated my weapon, which was able to kill those bastards properly. One of the gross girls managed to grab me by the throat, and holding the useless knife in my hand, I looked in horror as the shiny bracelet on her wrist. Thankfully, Ella was right on time to cut the frickin' hand off. The monsters screamed and fell on the floor. Friends jumped at us, and I grabbed the random target. Jackpot. This time the bracelet was a chain. Easily destroy the monster, and it was torn apart. It would be much easier, but I had already. It's the tooth. It could give me powers, only once. I usually used it to stay alive after a series of we need to figure out something. Jane with her squad were down the stairs quickly. Grace peeked from the upper floor. She was seeking an opportunity to run away. It was not the best moment, so she went to her safe. Run, bitch, run. Ella's voice was cold and cruel, not as usual. I continued swinging with my knife. We were in the ritual room, but we were had to retreat to the hall. Jane was really close. Her hand was trying to reach me, but when I tried to hit her, someone always covered her. I had to attack from a distance. Shit, where's that revolver when I need it? Jane was strong. What if she was like some kind of boss in a gun game? And if we kill all her followers, she will die. Looks like staying alive until that moment was almost impossible. Strong jaws bit my hand and skinned. That's about it. Turn 2 of 12. Oh, there's a true ending. Walt Disney and Philmere Martin's bag, there was a spare lighter, spray, Before going to Grace's birthday party and went to the gym, the killer has to be fit, right? Didn't care about it too much, but like a child of the 21st century, I saw a flamethrower. It was too late. I couldn't divert their attention to myself. Are you sure it'll work? Oh, for fuck's sake. Grace Jen. She pointed at the flamethrower. So again. She pointed at the flamethrower with her axe. Then quickly cut off the hand of the monster girl. It shouted and stepped back, swinging with the slung. Got up, took the flamethrower, and pressed the button. The fire streams filled the space in front of me, but even it was weak. We're walking forward anyway. I had slain 2 girls who were defending Jane, and when the new squad of guards started reinforcing the flame of fire, that's the bracelet. Turned black and began smoking. Strange, I saw some of the girls were wearing golden bracelets. They were the hardest to kill. Silver and bronze were for Ella. Her axe could break them, but very rarely. Martin knitted the bracelet for his lovely sister, Jane, himself. I wonder what expression she wore on her face, and her brother gave her that. What he felt when he understood that it was a payday. The knitted bracelet turned into a flame circle. The one which tigers jump through in a circus. In a moment, the girl started turning to ashes. Her teeth knives were falling from her mouth, sticking to the floor, creating a wicked spark. Bandages disappeared, and I saw her slashed face. Blood was flowing out from her eye holes, and the girl fell to her knees, hiding her face in her hands. Her hands began rotting and immediately fell off. Her face was so ugly that I turned away. Her jaw dropped to the floor, and her body turned to ashes. Just like we did it, she smiled at me. I don't know what you're up to, and I promise to help you in exchange for my life. I can't promise it for sure, but you can take a risk. I'll do whatever you ask. I can torture, I can kill. What a penis. P-butt? What's a P-butt? Ukulele, how's it going? She hurt you so much. I understand what you feel, Ashley. Grace must suffer after what she's done to you at school, after all of the bullying and jokes. You understand me? You an asshole that traded your friend for your pathetic soul. You understand? My eyes flashed with coldness. Follow me. But it'll be helpful for me. Ella's on my side. Anyway, I decided to keep my distance from her. Who knows, maybe she'd want to cut my head off. We were climbing up the stairs when suddenly a ball fell to our feet and then disappeared. I heard a clockwork key creaking. Toys, geez, a baby again, assholes. Like killing babies? I looked at Ella. Looked focused and was holding the axe ready, so I focused that I thought that she'd kill me in a second. Ooh, Ashley. Spirits that like talking the most, the spirits of greed. I looked closely at Ella's face. Did you kill a baby, bitch? Hopefully soon. Hopefully soon. Who are you? I want her to swim with me. So I must help you? Not really, but if you don't help me, we'll be swimming together. There's much space there. Plenty of it, Ashley. Not going to hell, not today, but they have reserved a room for me. Ha ha ha, you're funny. Can we be friends? Probably. Can you share things, Ashley? I can. She couldn't, ever. Of course, you mean Ella? No response. Seems like she doesn't like talking too much, no? Saw Grace. She was holding a knife in her hands. The girl ran straight to me, but when she noticed Ella with an axe, she realized who was the real prey. Grace ominously flashed her eyes at us and rushed to the bathroom, locking the door behind her. I couldn't let Ella kill her, so I wanted to grab Ella's hand, but I didn't have a chance. Came to the bathroom and prepared the axe. Wilgoth hit the door and the axe was broken to pieces. The hell? That wasn't the deal. I guiltily looked at her. Of course, there was no guilt. Ella wanted to run away, but I won't let her. The mist surrounded her. She couldn't run anywhere, but to the bathroom where Grace was hiding. I heard the waters meandering and a quiet sobbing of a girl in the bathroom. Ella started feverishly knocking at the door. I don't want to die because of you, Grace. Bitch, get out of here. I will kill you. Kill you, asshole. The girl began scratching the door with her nails, and when she ripped one off her finger, she screamed. The blood pool appeared under the door. Ella looked at the blood in fear, and her mind went mad. It seemed like she saw something in her bloody reflection. Don't look at me like this. I told you not to touch Mr. Bubbles. She rushed at me and fell on her knees. I warned her so many times, Ashley. Believe me, I'm not guilty. She stopped looking at me. Ella stared down again like the gates of hell were on the floor. Through the half-open door of an unknown and beyond. Missy Albert was calling her sister to play. Leave me alone. I don't want to play with you, you little shit. I must have burned to your corpse, little bitch. Ella jumped quickly, and pushing me away, it ran down the stairs. The crimson blood rushed after her. The last step, a cold hand grabbed her ankle. Ella fell on the floor, but managed to get up. Missy grabbed her hands, pulled down, making her fall on her knees. No, let me go. Let me go. Now you're on my stage, and what to do with you, I'll decide myself. I heard a loud, painful scream. Do you know what she did when she drowned me, Ashley? I shook my head. I did not know. She took my bricks from the box and stole all of my toys. She didn't leave me anything except Mr. Bubbles. I drowned with him in my hands. I am sorry. She deserves this, right? Deserves to feel pain? Yeah, fuck it. Of course. As he tore Ella's arms with such force that I heard the sound of breaking bones. Oh, God. Both arms plopped in the bloody river, and hands with fingers spread in pain sank straight to the bottom. Bleeding Ella fell and choked with her own scream. What have you done to me? What have you? Ella cried for some time, and soon bled to death. She caught Ella's hands from the blood and brought them to her lips. Dead fingers seemed to creep into her mouth themselves. Her sharp teeth milled the bones, and she swallowed them like delicious sweets. Missy was staying near her sister's corpse for a long time. She used the opportunity, rushed to her, and took the toy away. I tore it apart, and the girl started crying. She fell in the blood pool and disappeared. Came to the bathroom door. Grace, it's time to come out. It's time to die. Grace! Grace, damn! And knocking the door with the knife with such force that I almost broke the door. Take it easy, Ashley. The door became transparent and I saw Grace lying on the floor. It was like her body got cut in threads. Every inch of her skin was cut. These were guitar strings and bangs and notes. Her body looked as if someone wanted to play tic-tac-toe but didn't dare start the game. Shit. I saw her putting the clawed hands of Grace's head, raising the scalp and taking the brain out. She clenched it with her slippery fingers like a beefsteak. Right, I can say it's finger-licking delicious. A bit arrogant and pretentious, but good enough to eat. Quickly went down the stairs, took the axe, was lying near Kate's corpse. Something glittered in front of me. It was a thread. Anna, Grace's victim, was standing in front of me, but I didn't care about her death. I wanted to finish all of this as soon as possible. The girl caught my hand in a noose and pulled. I lost several fingers and screamed in pain. Apple bapple. Happily wappily. Snappily bappily. She ran at me again, but I managed to wind the thread around my knife. Pulling her towards me, I cut her eyes out. Then took the guitar hanging behind her back and broke it apart with full force. The girl cried and exploded into pieces in pain. The blood painted all of the walls red. Exhausted, I sat on the floor. Satisfied? Of course, my dear sister, of course. My mum and dad appeared before me. They were calling me. I just needed to step on the ladder of life. I was climbing higher and higher. The stool creaked. The noose started tightening. No longer than 3 minutes, otherwise it would be the end. I know. My parents were smiling at me as usual. The same smiles as if I was watching the same movie over and over. My sister was standing by my side, and for the moment we were like a real family. I saw that my parents' eyes weren't smiling. I didn't pay much attention to it before, but it was bothering me this time. 3 minutes of death seemed like a week to me. I could stand with them for eternity and feel myself alive. The wonderful dream was coming to an end, and in several seconds I found myself in a nightmarish reality. The door closed, and I was left alone in a trap. You want to perform the ritual again? Epilogue! I'm alright. How are you doing? Policemen came to the crime scene. The whole house was covered in blood. Gregory Derifield was transferred into his department not so long ago, but loads of people had died already. There's a murder in the asylum, in the factory, and the old abandoned amusement park. He slowly approached the house, and having opened the door, took out his gun. Gregory saw the corpse of a young girl on the floor. Her hands were spread like wings, as if she was flying to get something. Hit her head that was lying far away. So far from her frickin' body, Gregory pretended to have never come to this house. He was still outside, or better, he was driving on a highway far away from this place. He swallowed, and finding the phone with his sweaty fingers, he made a call, glancing at the name. He would just tell about what he had seen, call Inspector, then rose and go away as if he never came. Somewhere in the chief's office, the phone would ring. He would just answer several questions. Fine, Gregory, he muttered. I think you should take a look at the head. We just need to tell the parents about her death. We're humans, after all. Gregory made a step forward. Shit, right in front of the stairs, another girl's corpse was lying. She curled up, her arms were separated from her body, and her eyes were frozen in fear. All the corpses were fresh. Gregory had goosebumps. The girl was almost smiling at him, telling, "Excuse me, can you please look at my hands?" Actually, he really didn't want to do that. His curiosity led him to the second doomed floor. There was a young man in the center of the room. Legs and arms were missing as if a beast tore them off. No, Gregory didn't see it. A half-eaten arm in the corner of the room. He didn't see anything. Did not enter the house. He just called to tell about the accident. Inspector Moreau speaking. Geez, I'm so glad you picked up the phone. I do not even know what to say. The corpses are everywhere. Maybe it's even more violent than the murder at the school. It's absolutely insane. I see. Calm down. Did you see the star? Who cares about the frickin' star? There are torn limbs everywhere. It is hell. So you saw it? Yes, the star and the candles, as you told me. One more place. It's the third time such an accident already. Looks like it's getting hot soon. You think it's somehow connected to Phantasm, Inspector? Phantasm? Don't know. It's probably some kind of experiment. Geez, what on earth is happening in this world? Think you should ask the devil? You completed the ritual and saw your parents. Excellent. What is this the whole point? Is everything so simple? Maybe you should see another ending. See you later. No, I'm not going to see the other ending. Okay. You're hellless. Demon Fox! Onihime. Halson. Aiko. Paul Halamar. Lilith Sin. Chibis. Simi. Splinter Feel, Odin Watt, Sikwi, Alex Mason, and some Halsum and Onihime. Halsum and Lilith Sin. Here, Hellas Lilith Sin, translation editor to Here, Hellas. Bazinga. Sound used in the game from the following websites: noisefx.ru, wavelibrary.net. Oh boy, we did it. We solved the city. We saved the day. So I guess my plans are in kaput because I was expecting this to take an hour and this instead took about 2.5 hours. So, I'm just going to swap on over to Faz after a quick BRB. So yeah, I will see you in a few minutes. BRB?